the frustrations that come with being a woman business owner, things that are going through. Maybe their spouse isn't supportive, or maybe they're feeling really frustrated because they are not making sales or they need leads. I think we all go through that.
Christina Rowe,
founder of Women Helping Entrepreneurs with almost 800,000 members.
And her focus is helping clients execute comprehensive branding and marketing plans.
Generally, people want connection. When they feel like they can have that sort of platform, people engage. And that's when I made the decision to go all in on it.
Was there a point where you faced imposter syndrome?
There were definitely times like when people started asking me for advice. I was like, do I know enough? Am I qualified? Most of the time, people love to talk about themselves. We all do as humans. When I had started the group, I didn't want the group to be all about me. Then I decided to when people are searching for a group, they're looking for some sort of like-minded tribe of people that they can connect with.
How did you make that pivot from running everything yourself and it all being about you to making it a community-driven thing?
I think the key to that is to
no hustle, worship here, we're a different breed. Action is what we got if action is what you need. Content capitalists, we're breaking the mold. Cause the old ways fading, new stories to be told. So content capitalists, get to the prize.
This is the Content Capitalist Podcast, and my name is Ken Okazaki. There are as many ways to make money with content as there are people doing it. So listen in as my clients, past, present, and future, unpack how they crack the code to making $1 million a year or more while capitalizing on their content. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of the Content Capitalist Podcast, where I have deep dive conversations with people who are crushing it in their businesses and doing content and doing it right. I've got a guest with me. Her name is Christina Rowe. Welcome, Christina Rowe. Got a quick bio here. Founder of Standout Media Group, co-founder of Women Helping Women, a global community empowering female entrepreneurs, a renowned marketing expert. Christina specializes in brand development, online and offline marketing, and social media strategies. She's got appearances on TV shows and in numerous publications, and she's a respected voice in marketing and content creation. And her work is focused on helping clients craft and execute comprehensive branding and marketing plans. Have that right?
Well, okay. It might have been some outdated stuff. So I am the founder of Women Helping Entrepreneurs. So it's we now have 796,000 members. We're inching up toward 800,000.
Wow.
And yeah, I used with clients, back probably where you got it from online and stuff too. But I have the Standout Online Membership Program, which I lead now, and I don't do personal clients anymore. So we have members who join our membership program, and they're able to promote their businesses inside of our Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs group. So
note to self, I'm gonna send the bio to get checked before I read it on the podcast. But anyhow, thank you for the updates on that.
A lot of stuff that you could find lots of stuff all over the place, right? I've got to clean everything up, right?
All good. So Christina, I would love for you to give us a bit of a view of how you got started. Like, what were you doing before you got into helping other people through business?
Sure. So back, I say in my former life, I used to own a hair and nail salon, believe it or not. This is going way back. And I went through a very nasty divorce, and I wound up getting the salon in the divorce, and then I wound up selling it. So I had 4 kids at the time, and I still have 4 kids, but at the time they were younger, and I wanted to do something where I could work from home. So I decided to write a book about divorce. The book was called 7 Secrets to a Successful Divorce. And I had to make a choice. Do I want to get it, published or do self-publishing? So that's how I discovered online marketing. I decided to self-publish it. And I learned how to, back then we used something called Front Page. I don't know if you remember that. We didn't have ClickFunnels. We didn't have Go High Level. None of this stuff existed. So it was the basics. So I taught myself how to use it. And then other authors and speakers and coaches started asking me to help them with their online marketing. And then I ended up with 2 other women starting a women's organization in South Florida and doing events and speaking on stage and bringing in big speakers. And we did that for several years, which then evolved in me by myself starting Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs. And the community just kept growing and growing. And we have, not only do we have the big group, we have groups in different countries, different states. We have tons of different Women Helping Women Entrepreneur groups in different locations. So my mission became to help other women and then, of course, give them a platform to promote their own businesses on. And that's
Amazing.
What I do today.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I feel like you've taken 2 lifetimes and compressed it into a 2-minute, synopsis. And I'm trying to picture you right now. You're running a nail salon, right? And you're great at the beauty thing, conversing with other women. That's the whole cliche, right? You go to your barber shop or your salon, and that's where you gossip and stuff, right?
It's true.
So you got your women helping women, but then you kind of scaled that up. But tell me, was there a point where you faced imposter syndrome? Like, hey, I'm just a nail salon gal, and now people are asking me for advice about life and business.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I owned the salon, but I never did hair or nails. So I was, running as a business. And yeah, you're absolutely right. All the customers tell you their life stories, and all of the employees are, half crazy at the time. So it's a very interesting thing. So this was a complete shift. And yeah, there were times, when I was starting out, being frustrated by tech overwhelm and learning something new. And then when people started asking me for advice, I was like, okay, I'm not in this very long, but back then, there weren't many people because it was kind of, new. Online marketing was pretty new by then. I mean, 2006 Facebook was for college kids, right? So, yeah, there were definitely times like that, going through the years while, you're learning and feeling like, do I know enough? Am I qualified? I think we all go through that, in the beginning, but as long as, most of the time, more than someone else, and you can help them with the knowledge that you have. You have to know it all.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Now, I got a question here. Was there a certain thing that happened? Now, I know there was the divorce that caused you to, that gave you the experience that allowed you to write the book that kind of went to one thing to another. But why online at that time? Because this is really early, and you said you made that decision between self-publishing and online. Could you walk me a bit through that thought process and the decision-making around that?
Sure. Well, first I wanted, like any author, you want to get published, so I started exploring that avenue. And then I saw that it takes, a long time and it's difficult to get a publisher. And then I ended up seeing a workshop in Atlanta by a man named Matt Basic. He's one of the originals of online marketing. So I flew out to Atlanta, and I remember he gave us a laptop and said, this is like, your machine to make money. And he showed us how to make the squeeze page back then. And after that weekend, I was like hooked. Like, I remember being so excited I couldn't sleep. I was like, he taught strategies back then. I was promoting my book at the time. So that's what made me make the decision to learn online marketing and go in that direction, because I just loved it. Like, I thought it was so exciting because brand new, wasn't like it is today. And, everything he was teaching was so cool. And we actually got the laptop as part of the workshop. So back then, too, that was a big deal, right? They were expensive back then, those laptops, right?
That's pretty sweet. I wonder if anyone's doing that nowadays. Like, come to my workshop, you get a laptop, walk away with a MacBook Air or something.
Well, you go there, was a weekend, and he's a great guy, Matt. So yeah, so he taught me, my whole beginnings of online marketing, and that's when I made the decision to go all in on it.
Mm. Now, something caught my attention when you first were doing your introduction. You said you have 700-some thousand members in. Tell me about that community. Like, what does it mean to be a member? How do people get in, and what do they get out of it?
So yeah, we're almost to 800,000. We're like a little less than 4,000 left to get to the 800,000 mark. And the women are from all over the world. We're in all different countries, and it's a place of support. So it's really a place for women helping women. It's women to support each other in business, life, the frustrations that come with being a woman business owner. We don't allow men. So it's, a safe place for women to discuss, things that they're going through. Maybe their spouse isn't supportive, or maybe they're feeling really frustrated because they are not making sales, or they need leads, a VA, and people, are constantly saying, what should I use for this, and asking questions. But it's also a platform for the ones who join the membership to have an audience. Because, you could have a great product and stuff and not have an audience and be very frustrated and spending a lot of money on ads. But instead, you can come as my group if your ideal audience is women entrepreneurs, and you will be able to have one promotional post a week. You can go live on Facebook. We also give them a 60-second commercial. We have blog post directories, and they come on our podcast as well. So it gives them a platform, and that's been exciting to see, because we have many women who've just done phenomenal. Like, they've run their whole businesses from my group, which is incredible. When I hear this, blown away, the things like, I made this much from your group and this group. I'm like, wow, that's just amazing. And it makes me feel good, because when I had started the group, it started to grow. I was still doing coaching, so I didn't want the group to be all about me. And then I sort of, okay, I'm kind of competing with members at that point, and then I decided to change the platform and say, you know what, I'm going to step back and let this build the platform for everybody to benefit from. And that's what came.
There's two reasons why this topic is really interesting for me. Number one, because we off camera, we're working on another deal where we're going to do a promotion together for the GoBox Studio. So super, super interesting. But number two, I also have a group. It's literally about 1/100th the size of yours, 7,700 people. And I'm at that point too, where it's just all about me. And I'm wondering, hey, how do I make this into a community? Could you walk me through, and I think a few of my audience members, the 7,700 in my tiny group compared to yours, would be interested in how did you practically make that pivot from running everything yourself and it all being about you to making it a community-driven thing, but still keeping that theme and the aliveness and the spirit of it when you started it?
Yeah, I think, the key to that is to let your group members speak, let them post, ask them questions, and encourage them to engage. Because too many business owners or coaches, it's always, okay, here's my webinar, here's my class, here's my, and it's not about them. So you could do simple things too, like post during the week, okay, let me see your, websites today. Let's everybody share. Let's share a free gift offer. If it's online marketing or whatever your group is about, get the members to start sharing and have them start, allow them to give. So it's their group too. You want them to feel like it's their community, not whoever the leader of the community is because that becomes the difference between, a platform as opposed to a community when you get that engagement.
Is this almost daily that you say, hey, let's show us a photo of this, or share this, what are you working on? Is that daily, or is this 2 or 3 times a week? And also, how often does that kind of cycle?
Well, it's interesting with content. In the beginning, you want to go, daily, you want to engage, you want to ask questions, you want to keep people interested, so it's popping back up into their news feed. I mean, the last few years, I don't even have to post myself. They do it. They're posting the engaging questions. They're saying, okay, let me see, this, let's show photos, let's do that. So, but in the beginning, you definitely have to, if you don't, keep on top of that every day, just spend a couple of minutes in your group, then, people forget all about your group. And if engagement goes down, then nobody sees it in their feeds and it's harder to get them back. So the best thing to do when you start a group, or if you have a group, you want to re-engage the group, is to start using the tools side of groups. Right now, there's 2 really great tools you can use. Is the Everyone tab, which some people hate it. I don't mind it. It does get attention to people, and if you're not trying to sell them something, you just want to show good content, then why shouldn't you use it, right? Now, we don't have that in our big group. Facebook will not give me the Everyone tab.
Is that because it's too
smaller
big?
Group. I'm thinking that's why, but it's not active in our group. I guess they don't want me tagging, 800,000 members at the same time, but we do have it in the other groups, and I do use it in my smaller groups to get people back. And the chat feature is a great feature for groups, because the chat feature gets attention, and there's a way to invite engaging members to your chats. So if you have a group, great conversations in the chat. The only thing we have as being a women entrepreneur business group is that they take it as an invitation to promote, where we say no spam, and nobody listens, and boom, you get those ones just, spamming the chat. And then I often have, oh no, I have it in settings only I can, but any member who's invited, comment in the chat. So it's like a messenger, you get out of hand, so you got to keep an eye on it just to make sure your members are not doing that. But it depends on the subject matter of your group too, because entrepreneurs always want to promote themselves, so you're going to run into that. I have this webinar, I'm having this. But if it's you want to keep, it could be a great tool, because you can start talking directly to members and engaging with them in the chat feature. And all groups have a chat feature now. That's a really great way to reactivate a group by, creating interesting subjects for chat. That things, what do you like to see, what are your needs, and getting to know the members. And from the beginning, when they enter your group, there's softwares that do this, but you can do it manually, is keeping track, and then following up by messenger to welcome new members privately, first of all, everybody should know you need on the 3 questions to get the email address. So you put them right into a working sequence as well. But, email, not everybody opens. So you want to have other avenues as well to reach out to them. Using the welcome post is a great way to, tag them. You can now, with Admin Assist, have a welcome post go automatic. So you can set up your initial welcome post, and then I have it every 100 members. It tags 100 members at a time, and it just auto fires. So I don't even do any work. And those new members get welcome tagged. You can tell them, the group, what the group's about, and give them some sort of, you can go back, have your assistant go back into the lead, into that post, and then offer them something of value, email them, getting them back to the group. When you want to send emails out to your group, a great thing to do is to do a post in your group, very high value, and then get the URL of that post, and then drop it into something called URL Genius, and it
URL
quotes
Genius.
the link.
Yeah, I love that one.
It's great because what'll happen is a lot of people do this technique, but they just use the actual link, and then people get on their phones, they pick up their phone, and they're like, okay,
And
I
they're
want to go see
logged
that.
out when they click it, right?
And I've done that so many times, like,
Yeah.
forget it then. Forgot it. But when you do use that tool, it goes right back to your Facebook group. So now you're bringing your email list back into your Facebook group. If you do that consistently, you're going to build engagement, more and more people, and the more and more people engage, the more people see it, and the faster your group grows and gets more engagement.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing all that. I feel like, what you're sharing there is something that a lot of people who are figuring out groups are going to appreciate, like just kind of seeing that behind the scenes of how that all works.
There's lots of can do.
There's the behind the scenes, all the tech stuff. But for me, the thing that really stood out to me is how you're bringing the community to lead the community instead of you having to be the leader on top. And that's probably a shift I'm going to make. And you might notice that if you're listening to this. I'm not sure when you're going to hear this, but I'm tired of being the face of everything. It gets exhausting sometimes. And that's probably why my group is not as active as it is, because people are sensing I'm exhausted.
Right. You're right. And and people what do people love? They love to talk about themselves, right? We all do as humans. We want to share our businesses, ourselves, what we're doing, and have that interest. And like when they feel like they can have that sort of platform, people engage, and then people meet other people in the group too. And connection's really important as well. It's really important to foster that, and some of our most popular posts are ones where people will post, let's all, connect with someone else and network together. And there's one worded very well that they put out. We'll get like thousands of comments, of people getting so excited because generally people want connection, they want that like factor, and they do want to know other people and friend people and groups. That's what they go there for. That's what people forget. Groups are communities. They're for support. When people are searching for a group, they're looking for some sort of like-minded tribe of people that they can connect with.
Yeah, amazing. And one thing that I noticed recently that didn't exist like maybe 6 months ago, and I'm not sure if you've got caught one of this early, but before I was, running ads to people to get into the group, and I used to have to take them to a landing page that led back to the group. Now you can run ads directly into your group, and it costs a lot less. So that's a nice feature that they just added.
It's huge. Oh my gosh. I was just, telling everybody about this recently. It is a huge feature. And not only you'll see the button, promote groups in your group, but I've heard last week by November 6th, it was, they allowed it now in Facebook Ads Manager. So if you go in your Ads Manager to engagement, and then there'll be a button for Facebook groups. But you're right. Before you had to take them to a funnel and route them, which, you lose people in that translation. Now you're actually going to see the group. A suggestion to do this is when you hit that button, it's kind of like a boost. They will populate the ad with your about section, but you can change that, and modify, choose custom audiences if you want and put the right keywords. But offering something, an ethical bribe to get them in your group, once they join the group, is a great way to get people when they see your ad to join, to say, this group's for, exactly who it's for and what the benefits are. And when you join today, you're going to get XYZ valued at this much. And then you make sure you deliver it once they come in. And it's just a great way to get group members cheaply. Like you said, I've tested this out, and it's shocking what quality leads you can get, and at a much, much lower price than Facebook ads leads. So it's definitely a back. Yeah.
Christina, I'm really interested in something. Right now, as we're having this conversation, you have this poise, this confidence, and everything seems to be under control. But what was it like when you first started creating video content? Because at some stage, you had to go from, being the person just sending emails and, messages, maybe photos if you're brave, and then actually putting yourself on video. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now I started so long ago, and we're talking about, what did we have? Those flip camera things, those little camera things that we had that back then. I remember, I still have YouTube videos from way back, like all grainy looking, putting yourself on camera. They wouldn't have the editing that we have now, or the filters or anything like that. So yeah, in the beginning, it was scary to do. And then we used to do something called teleseminars. We didn't even have Zoom. And like, my kids were younger at the time, and I remember I have 4 kids, 2 girls and 2 boys, and my sons were teenagers at the time, and they were like, fighting and punching each other, and I had to go in the closet, with the teleseminar. I'm leading a teleseminar, and they're screaming and yelling, in the background. He did this, he did that, and I'm hiding in my closet doing the teleseminar because my kids are going crazy. That's how it was. Like, even working wise, like I'd have to run and bring them places, all my kids, soccer, this and that. And then I would start work at like 11 o'clock at night back those days, and just stay up all night doing my work. During the day, I had to be there for the kids. So yeah, it's definitely challenging. And now, we have so many great tools. So if you're afraid of starting out, putting yourself out there and being on camera, I mean, there's just phenomenal. I mean, this AI stuff, and like even Zoom, you can put the touch-up feature. You can do so many things to make you feel more confident. And this editing, like things like the script, and now even Loom has the AI where it's like editing a Word doc. It's insane. Like, right? Because you're the video guy, it's crazy. I mean, so like everybody today, really, you don't have to worry. Like, you're producing video, it's so easy to edit. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can do it.
Yeah. Descript also just integrated the whole, the eye contact feature, which was, just a year ago was unheard of. And I think about 8 months ago, I started seeing some viral videos of people demonstrating it. Now Descript has it built in. You could take the video, and I could be looking off to the side, reading my script, but on the camera, you're going to see my face looking right at the camera, which is crazy. It's just absolutely
Isn't
crazy.
that great? I haven't tried it on Descript yet. I did try it on another app, and it was weird. I looked like I had alien eyes,
Yes.
like when I did.
It's still a little bit, in development, but and to be fair, it does say beta on it. But the kind of technology out there gives people this is going to date me a little bit, but I remember the first teleprompter that I used. I think we paid $35,000 for it. The mirror thing.
Wow.
It was a beam. They called it beam splitters back then, right? And it was meant to fit on one of these big, massive studio cameras that you broadcast TV on, and I thought that was a deal. now you get them for like $100 or $150, right? Or maybe less if it's the kind that just fits your phone. Clip it on your camera, and you could just be reading the script.
Oh my gosh,
life has got
so. And people don't realize it's easier than ever. Like the curve to like shorten, like you just shortened collapse time with all the tools now. How long it would take you to, even back then, make a video and then have to send it to someone to edit and pay all that money and get it back before you could even put it on. Now we just grab our iPhones and boom, we're making a video in seconds. And these apps now too can actually film you and make you look better while you're filming. There's some really crazy ones out there. Like, ladies, you will love it because everything, you can just look great in one thing and look terrible in the next part of your room. So it's exciting time. So it's like, really, for content, there's no excuse now. You can not even be it. That's a great thing. If you don't want to be on camera, you can do the little reels where you put all the text over a video from Canva.
Absolutely. Now, if you're okay with it, I want to ask you this one question. And this show is called Content Capitalists: How People Capitalize on Content. Could you give us like a logical string of events from when you conceptualize an idea for content, whether it's a video post, whether it's an ad, to what are the steps that happen to someone coming into your program as a paying member? Could you break that down in its most direct form? Like, the ideal form? And I know people come in from everywhere because you have people organic, old leads, new leads, referrals, and all that. But what's the most straight path that you can describe?
Okay, so we do like our group, the most popular type of posts are the posts with the color backgrounds on Facebook, right? And they're very short hook, right? Our members do amazing with them. I do one that I have one that's not even with a color background. It has like the H1 text, bolded with some emojis. And basically it says, who wants to promote your business to our, 796,000 members for less than $50 a week. It's much cheaper than ads. One in, that's it. And then get to thousands of people. Me, tell me more. And then the next step is either you have a virtual assistant go in or use, one of these softwares that we have for Chrome extensions to leave comments and directing them to the website. And then they go from there, and then they go to the website, the funnel, and they buy my membership. But another way to do it is to put them to webinars or put them the same sort of viral post to a lead magnet. Or a lot of our members use this extremely effectively to build their own Facebook groups. So one of the things I teach is called how to be an instant influencer, is to borrow other people's audiences. And you can go into Facebook groups that allow it, and be able to take their members into your own group using that strategy, having a very catchy viral hook type post and get them and have in the comments, because you never want to put links in Facebook directly, because if you do that, then they don't show it as much. And then you just lead them off either to your Facebook group, your lead magnet, or directly to a sale. Usually directly to a sale is harder, but I'm able to do that. That works well because my members are very eager for this, so they will buy right from that. But I usually advise to go to a lead magnet first. But it's those are the posts that do the best. Long form content in groups, unless you really have to have a great hook. If you don't have that hook, nobody's going to read. So if you have a really great hook and then high value people, then you can do really well with that. We're seeing that more than video, believe it or not, in Facebook groups. I know video does great for Instagram and Reels and everything too, but we're seeing that those two in Facebook groups tend to work better. Although, if I pin a webinar replay or something to the top, I get thousands of viewers watching it over time. They will watch it, or using restream.io to stream in multiple locations. People will see it. But my favorite form of content would be those short viral type posts.
Got it. So it's actually not a big complicated Rube Goldberg machine. It's just group, conversation, and then an offer. Is that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah. And the other ways to do it is to, if you get them into like pipelines where when they come into the group, then you're having a strategy where you're initially sending them not only by email, but by tagging them Messenger, get your VA to interact with them and getting them more lead magnets, and then working them toward the sale that way too, put it through a process. So, treating each group member like that and building, a friendly relationship with them and giving them high value first, and then moving them along to the sale, the ultimate sale, in the value ladder, that works very well too, especially if you're doing like high ticket. You'll want to do that because people have to build that trust factor, and they need to see you multiple times. People today, they say it's it used to be 8, 9, 10 touch points. Now it's like 40 touch points before they buy me, right?
Who knows how many nowadays? It's crazy.
Right.
What mistakes are you seeing when people are trying to set up their new online businesses, whether it's coaching or agency work or something like that?
Oh, I think, the branding comes a lot into that. So you see people, they'll get a website with multiple links on it and, confuse mind never buys. So, you need a funnel. You do need a funnel system, and you don't want people to be jumping all over the place. You want one direction for them when you set up your online business to buy. Lead them from, the traditional funnel standard. You're going from lead magnet or a challenge or a webinar, to, can have an upsell, VIP upsell or whatever it is, to then eventually to the sale. But you really need to have that branded. You don't want to have, skip out and have really ugly, dated stuff, because that loses credibility. I think that's a big mistake. A lot of people I see some horrendous, websites. I'm like, I can't even So I just saw someone's website with had ads on it, something. I'm like those
Their
Google
landing
type ads.
page
I'm like,
had like the old-fashioned ads, the banner
I
ads and
was
stuff.
banner ads. I'm like, what? I haven't seen this from 2008 or something. Like, what's going on? But like, yeah, people, they think that's something they don't need to spend time in. And that is so crucial because you can get all the leads, group or from anywhere. And yeah, but if people don't come to your landing page and they're not impressed or like feel confident and secure that this is a good product, this is someone I can trust, if it's not professional, then they're going to click off. If they think, oh, I'm going to be scammed or this looks, this doesn't look right. So I'd really want to invest in that in your branding and have a concise brand. Don't have go on people are going to check you out on your personal profile. So, make sure your picture, you're not putting your dog as your profile picture. Make sure you have the banner in the back, your Facebook cover, everything concise, branded, the about section. The worst thing is when you meet somebody on his Facebook and then you go and there's no links to their website. You don't know who they are. Their credibility doesn't match what they're talking about. So that's very important to be consistent with that. Make sure that you have that.
Now, branding is a pretty broad topic. And if you suggest that people DIY it and they read some, I don't know, I guess take some lessons from someone like you, or do you think that it's better to, let's say you already have a business, hire a branding expert to be able to, kind of unify everything and launch it properly? What's your take on DIY versus hire someone?
Well, nowadays we have Canva, which is amazing. So you can really, with a little skill, you can do it yourself. Hiring a graphic designer is better if you have the budget, but let's say you don't have the budget. You just want to make sure that, you are learning a little bit about it, how to use it and your spacing and everything too. It's not going to be as great as a graphic designer, but you could, get a general idea of what colors you want to use. And then inexpensively, you can go to Fiverr and hire somebody to make your basic stuff. So it doesn't even have to be expensive. So if you don't have any sort of aptitude for Canva and any talent for it, you can do that. You can also go to sites and get templates you're allowed to then use for your branding as well. Like there's I think it's a creative design. There's a couple of different sites out there. Even on Etsy, you can buy actual logo templates and stuff to drop them in Canva and then put your own colors and stuff. So really no excuse for bad design in 2023 going to 2024.
Absolutely. Now, my listeners are, most of them are going to be business owners. Most of them are going to be, trying to figure out how to use content to make more money. Would you give a little bit of a peek into what you're seeing changing and things you might be experimenting with in terms of content creation and lead generation?
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, there's I think people, when you're talking about, if people want to be on Instagram is difficult. Let's face it, right? I see people getting more views over on TikTok and people having a lot of success with TikTok ads, which I have not tried, but I see people, talking about that. I think in two overlooked sites that people are not putting content and using as much probably would be Pinterest for women, which I'm guilty of that myself, not spending time there, but that's like a search engine. Pinterest is actually a search engine. When you type things in, if you have a good product for women, especially because it's 80% women, you could do really well over on Pinterest. And then LinkedIn's another great place. It's not just for, corporate business owners. There's coaches, there's spiritual coaches, there's all sorts of course creators, authors, everybody on there on LinkedIn. And that's a really good place because it seems like everybody's cramming to do the reels, oh, let's get on Instagram. We all want to be Instagram famous. And Instagram seems to be, it's tough. They're always, Facebook itself, Meta, they decide what they want to popularize. And then they, one point they're giving all these views to reels and now they're bringing them down. And we've seen them do that in the Facebook groups with Facebook Lives. Years ago, Facebook Lives, forget it. It was amazing. Now what they're doing is not showing, as much Facebook Lives. And I don't know if this is true, but somebody told me that it's because of the bandwidth that large videos take. And that this quarter especially, you'll see them prioritize them less. For next quarter, first quarter, they'll wrap it up more, but they'll still never be like they were back to 2020, where that was exploding. I don't know if that's a cost thing or whatever, but they love the reels. I think, Mark Zuckerberg is obsessed with beating TikTok and he's really prioritized the reels. And I think there's a lot of pressure for people. Oh, I have to do reels. And then And reels are great to do, but I don't think people should feel pressure that you have to dance or you have to be like someone else. You have to just, and if you're not comfortable talking and being on camera, you could still do reels. You can, easiest way is just go to Canva, click the reel, Instagram reel, and get one of their videos, get Canva Pro. It's like, I don't know, $12, $13 a month or something like that. Drop it in, and they even have some music, then you could not even use their music, you use the Instagram music, and they just put like some information on top. And people like those kind of things. Those work really well. So I think people are going to be, I've heard some rumors that long form content's coming back. I don't know if that's true or not, but people seem to have no attention span, so I'm not sure. I think it's, again, it will work well if the hook is there, meaning the first sentence is something that, and you draw people into a story, they'll read it. But people have no patience for long things if if they're not hooked in from the top.
Yeah. It's got to, I think that, because a lot of people do ask me, like, what's the ideal length for a video? And the conclusion I've come, and I answer the same every time now, is as long as you can keep their attention. That's it. It doesn't matter if it's 10 seconds or, 10 minutes or 100 minutes. It's going to be as long as you keep their attention. We watched Lord of the Rings and, all these, Game of Thrones. These are hours and hours and hours of TV. It's because they figured out how to keep our attention from 1 second to the next second to the minute to the hour and so on. So yeah, so I think Reels was psychologically a great way to get people started, because it's not hard to keep someone's attention for 30 seconds, 10 seconds. So that's like the gateway drug to people creating more content. And TikTok revolutionized that. Now more than ever, the platform is about creating content just as much as about consuming, which was their genius moment. Is they said, let's make a creators tool, make it so creator friendly that everybody wants to create. And then the kind of content they produce is stuff like, let's dance along, sing along, participate. Now everybody wants to do it. So
exactly. Sure, right. The pressure, like, oh my gosh, I can't do that and you don't have to, because, people don't really care about over editing or anything. They just want real stuff that's interesting. I think that's what it comes down to. How interesting are you? And like I said, it doesn't matter if you can keep, I went to see Oppenheimer this summer, and that's over 3-hour movie. And I didn't even flinch. So good, because it was so great. I didn't even think, oh, I want to check my cell phone or anything. My attention was fully there. So it's going to depend if you can keep the kind of how long, it won't matter. I agree.
I've got to wrap this up soon. We're we got about 10 more minutes, but if there's something you tell to someone who's starting out, right, but they haven't put themselves in front of the camera yet, they like doing all the technical stuff and the automations and all that, but beginning in front of the camera kind of scares them, but they know they need to do it. What would you tell that person?
I would say, yeah, I think, it's a great skill to start developing. It depends on your personality too. So and if you like using a teleprompter and you could be natural on it, then that could be great. But some people I know freeze up and then sounds like they're reading. So that doesn't work. So I think, practicing in a safe place, going live in a small little group of your own, creating a little group of people and practicing every week going live, that will help you to get the confidence to maybe make a reel or put yourself out there. And don't let things stop you. It's like, a lot of women will say, well, I don't look good enough. There's so many apps that you can use that can make you look fantastic, and you don't have to worry about that. But people just don't want to feel like they're, oh gosh, everybody's looking at me, I'm being stupid, or I don't sound great. That's the fear I think people have behind that, of being, fueled or having haters, which you will. Everybody gets them. You'll get nasty comments, and you just have to just laugh about it. I call them the keyboard warriors, and you just can't get them, let them to you. You just got to keep going forward and just, putting out what you love to do and talking about things you love is really important too. Then it comes out more natural, sharing what you love. But it takes time, take them, especially if you're shy. So start off just making faceless reels, don't put yourself on it. Just go over to Canva and play around and just give your great content with overlay text initially until you start feeling more confident.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's actually something I've never done, is start putting up faceless content. That's an idea. I want to experiment with that. Maybe I could ramp up the volume by not having to get in front of the camera's office.
Another thing is the B-roll does very well too. So people, for some reason, are fascinated just with video of yourself walking somewhere, or like just doing something that you could be. Actually, we have one of our members. She did the reels that would just blow up, where her face isn't even on it. Someone, I guess she had a camera in back of her, and she's like typing on the computer, and she taught something about Amazon KDP thing, and then there would be an overlay. Do you want to learn? I made this much in using this, and like everybody would go crazy over that, and she's just typing on the computer to the back of her head. So talk about faceless. It's just B-roll with the stuff over it. So any sort of things, if you're out and about, anything interesting you see, just take a little 20 seconds of it. Or have somebody film you walking or doing something interesting, and you don't even have to talk, and then just stick everything on top. Those really, really do well. Look for interesting things when you're out and about. That's, that'll make good posts. I saw a store, and they had this alien, actually looked like a real alien, sitting on a park bench. So I said, take a picture. I had my daughter take a picture, and we turned that not only into social media posts, we turned that into Facebook ads. It did amazing. We just made funny things to go around with it, like weird things like that in life that you see. Those make great content. So don't be afraid to jump in. And I have a video of me jumping on an indoor trampoline at a kiddie park. It got 18,000 views. So like, it just dumb things like that. And then you could, not me talking, you put the text over it. And so easy to do. It takes all the pressure away, right?
Yeah, really. Just look for the weird, look for stuff that's going to grab attention, and stick your message over it. That is definitely a shortcut to having to script and record and edit. It sounds so much easier and more fun.
Oh, it's so easy. You can do that in a matter of minutes. You can have it content.
Amazing.
Super.
Christina, if there's any female listeners, women listeners who want to get in touch with you or to join your group, where's the best place for them to go?
Oh, sure. Okay. So on Facebook, I am Christina Rowe. And our Facebook group is Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs. And I think I do have a shortcut URL. You can go to womenhelpingwomen.group, and it's a free group to join. And we'd love to have you. We have a lot of great resources in there, free resources if you'd like. And, it's a really great community to ask your questions and get help with your businesses and get support. So it's really a wonderful place.
Normally, I would say I can't wait to get in, but obviously I will not be welcome. Otherwise, guys, I do welcome, if you are a woman and you resounded with this message, which I think you have. I mean, we're almost an hour in and you're still listening. That tells me that this had some value to you. Go ahead, go check out Christina Rowe's group. There'll be a link down below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, check out the show notes. We'll have links in there to everything Christina Rowe. Christina, thank you so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed this conversation.
And this was so much fun. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you too. All right, guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you next week.
No hustle, worship here, we're a different breed. Action is what we got if action is what you need. Content capitalists, we're breaking the mold. Cause the old ways fade, new stories to be told. So content capitalists, get to the prize.
This is the Content Capitalist Podcast, and my name is Ken Okazaki. There are as many ways to make money with content as there are people doing it. So listen in as my clients, past, present, and future, unpack how they crack the code to making $1 million a year or more while capitalizing on their content. Let's get started.